Kai's voice is like a calm, godlike resonance. 60 days to rebuild the mortal shell. 10 more to forge an engine for my soul. Outside, the world I left behind bleeds. Jagged ruins of cities claw at a sky choked with ash and the shadows of shrieking winged monstrosities. The last vestiges of humanity huddle in flickering firelight, their world a canvas of gray, red, and despair. But in here, there is only perfection. Sunlight, warm and pure, filters through the leaves of trees I designed. A gentle breeze, carrying the scent of blossoms I imagined into existence, whispers across a lake as clear as polished glass. This is my sanctuary, my fortress, my genesis. A realm born from a single, desperate thought. In my last life, I called others brother. We fought together in the ruins, shared the last can of food, and promised to see the dawn of a new world. I remember the warmth of a shared fire, the easy laughter with jocks, the quiet nod of respect from Reed. And then cold shock of steel in my back. Their faces, twisted not with malice, but with a desperate, hungry greed. They left me for dead, for the prize they thought I held. They were wrong, they saw a treasure, I saw a key. Now, they scramble for survival in a dying world, while I cultivate divinity. This isn't about hiding, it's not about revenge, not yet. This is about becoming something more. In a world of monsters and monstrous men, the only path forward is to transcend. To build a foundation so absolute, so powerful, that the very concept of threat becomes meaningless. The next step is not an advancement. It is an act of cosmic architecture. I will lay a foundation upon which infinities can be built. This is Ascension, Year 0, Episode 5. The air in my nascent realm is alive. It's more than just oxygen, it hums with a palpable energy. A sea of raw potential that clings to the skin like morning dew. The light isn't just bright, it has a quality, a weight, as if woven from liquid gold. Every sound, from the rustle of leaves to the murmur of the waterfall I crafted, is a perfectly tuned note in a symphony of my own making. This is my canvas, and I am ready to paint my masterpiece. As I sit cross-legged at the heart of this perfect world, the cosmic Tao Codex flares to life in my mind. Its voice is not sound, but pure, unadulterated information pouring directly into my consciousness. It shows me the path, foundation, establishment. It shows the process to forge the very core of my future power. But it comes with a warning. A vision flashes behind my eyes, a cultivator, ancient and powerful, his face a mask of horror. His foundation, a magnificent but flawed structure of cracked crystal, explodes outward. His body, his very soul, dissolves into a scream of cosmic dust, his ambition turning him into nothing. A flawed foundation isn't a setback, it is annihilation. The higher you build on a cracked base, the more catastrophic the fall. The stakes are not just success or failure, they are existence or oblivion. The Codex asks a single, silent question. What is your Tao? What is the fundamental truth upon which you will build your existence? My life, the old and the new, flashes before me. Not as a blur, but as a series of crystal-clear moments, each a pillar of my new philosophy. A memory surfaces. In my last life, 3 years after the apocalypse, a collapsed supermarket. Me, Jax, and Reed huddled around a single dented can of beans. We were starving, but we split it 3 ways. No questions asked. I remember looking at their tired, grateful faces and feeling a bond I thought was unbreakable. That was the ideal of creation. Nurturing life, sharing what little we had to foster growth. A moment of pure brotherhood. Then a more recent memory. The joy, the sheer, unadulterated focus of designing this very realm. Not with hands, but with pure will. I spent hours shaping the curve of a mountain, deciding the exact path of a river. Choosing the specific shade of green for the moss on a stone. Every detail was an extension of my intent. The feeling was not of a god playing with toys, but of an artist pouring his soul onto a canvas. The absolute authority to shape reality to my will. That was sovereignty. And another just before I sealed myself away. From my perch in the hidden valley, I watched the scouting parties sent by my former comrades. They scurried near the decoy dungeon I'd left, their greed a palpable aura. I felt no anger, no hatred. Just a detached, analytical pity. They were trapped in a cycle of desperation, their actions predictable, their fates sealed by their own base natures. They were chaotic elements in a system I now understood. My path would be different. It would be a path of immutable laws and perfect systems. That was order. Creation, sovereignty, order, and a fourth principle, one that looked to the future. Evolution. The constant, undeniable drive to improve, to adapt, to become more than what I am. This was the blueprint, my Tao. A foundation built not on one singular concept, but on the synergy of four universal truths. The Codex acknowledges my choice. The path is set. The domain steward's voice is a whisper in the wind. Master, your autonomous cosmic nexus is operating at 100% conceptual efficiency. All systems are primed. The external narrative is stable. The mountain cataclysm is being classified as a volatile but dormant dimensional anomaly. The decoy dungeon is now a established, if deadly, resource zone for the nearest settlement. Your isolation remains absolute. Kai's eyes open, looking not at the sky, but inward. Good. Then we have silence. And in silence, the loudest creations are born. Cosmic Tao Codex. Initiate protocol for Realm 5. Foundation establishment. A deep, grounding thrum, like the first beat of a universe's heart. The Cosmic Tao Codex. Voice richer, echoing with tangible weight. Foundation establishment. This is the point of no return for a cultivator. You will take the unique pattern of your key formation, your nexus, and use it as the cornerstone. You will then gather the insights of your soul, the truths of your existence, and the laws you comprehend, to construct an immutable edifice within your Danshan. This foundation is your Tao made manifest. It defines your limits, your potential, and your very identity in the eyes of the cosmos. A flawed foundation cracks under the weight of future power. A supreme foundation becomes the bedrock of reality itself. A breathtaking holographic schematic unfolds. It shows Kai's nexus formation, but now vast, ghostly structures are being built around and through it, pillars, platforms, and complex, non-Euclidean geometry. The Codex speaks. Core Tao concepts identified: creation, sovereignty, order, and evolution. These are profound, cosmic-level truths. The energy and comprehension required to manifest them into a foundation are staggering. The process cannot be rushed. A single misaligned concept will create a fatal flaw. Kai speaks to ask, how long will this process take? The domain steward comes out and speaks, simulating, with your omniversal understanding guiding the conceptual alignment, and your cosmic supreme body channeling the required energy. Estimated construction time: 21 days, 3 cycles of 7. Each day will be spent materializing one aspect of your foundational truth. Then we begin. Day 1 of 21. Lay the first cornerstone, the principle of creation. The 21-day tribulation begins now. Day 1. The work starts. I close my eyes and reach for the sea of energy that fills this realm. We see the brilliant nexus. The first principle is creation. From its core, a stream of platinum ki, infused with the essence of his creator of realms trait, flows out. It doesn't just sit there. It begins, molecule by molecule, to construct. I begin to weave this energy, not into mountains or rivers, but into the very core of my being. This is not a gentle flow. It is a monumental act of will. Sweat beads on my forehead. My muscles tremble with a strain that is both physical and spiritual. I am a cosmic blacksmith, hammering raw, chaotic power into the first brick of my foundation. It feels like trying to hold a star in my hands. Every second is a battle against dissipation, against the energy wanting to tear itself free. By the end of the first day, I am utterly exhausted, but a single, infinitesimally small point of condensed, creative energy now exists within me. The first seed is planted. A text appears. Foundation construction, day 121st. Principle of creation, crystallized. In a low chant, Kai speaks. From will, a thought. From thought, a form. From form, a function. From function, a world. This is my first law. The process is agonizingly slow, incredibly detailed. We see the crystal's growth in extreme close-up. Each new layer representing a sub-principle: life, matter, energy, space. Days 2 and 3 are a continuation of this Herculean effort, feeding that seed, nurturing it, expanding it with the concept of creation until it's no longer a point, but a stable, swirling core of life-giving potential. On day 4, I shift my focus to sovereignty. The energy shifts. This is fiercer, drawing from his reality manipulation trait. The crystal is encased in a shell of shimmering, impervious force, a barrier that represents absolute control within his domain. Nothing enters or leaves without the will of the sovereign. I begin to build a shell around the creative core. This is the boundary, the declaration of I. It is the law that separates my existence from the rest of the universe. As the shell begins to form, a new sensation washes over me. A feeling of absolute authority. I can feel the edge of my own being, a tangible line that defines me. Within this boundary, my will is supreme. It is an intoxicating, empowering sensation, the first true taste of personal divinity. Forging this boundary takes another 3 days of relentless concentration, defining its edges, reinforcing its structure, and inscribing the concept of my absolute rule upon it. By day 8, the foundation has a core of creation and a shell of sovereignty. Now, for principle of order, I begin the most intricate work yet. From cosmic creator of formations, I project my will inward, weaving the energy between the core and the shell into a complex, geometric pattern. Filaments of light crisscross and connect, forming a stunning, ordered lattice. It's like watching a divine blueprint assemble itself in real time. A perfect system of laws being written directly into my soul. Each connection, each node, represents a rule, a constant. A piece of the unshakable logic that will govern my power. This phase is mentally grueling, requiring a level of focus that borders on inhuman. One misplaced thread could corrupt the entire system. This meticulous construction of order lasts until day 17. The lattice is now complete. A breathtakingly complex and beautiful structure of pure law, humming with quiet power. The domain steward, softly, reports, Master external note. The settlement, emboldened by conquering the decoy dungeon's first level, has named it Mirage Spire. They've established a permanent outpost at the mountain's base. Their leader, a woman who awakened a tactical mind trait, is suspicious. She has noted the Cataclysm site and the dungeon are geographically separate. Her reports speculate about a larger, hidden system. In a trance, Kai was unconcerned about the matter, and says, let her speculate, she seeks a system. She does not comprehend she is living on the skin of one. Continue. Day 18. The final principle. Evolution. From the all-supreme cosmic cultivator and the Nexus's adaptive lattice. I pour my intent into the center of the structure, not to build, but to infuse, to grant it the capacity for change. Inside the lattice, within the shell, a nebulous, ever-shifting cloud of pearlescent light appears. It is not static. It is alive, a living, breathing part of the foundation. It swirls and morphs, whispering with infinite potential, a constant promise of adaptation and growth. It is the engine of my future, the guarantee that my foundation will not be a static monument, but a living, evolving entity. The next 3 days, from 19 to 21, are the most critical. This is the integration phase. Creation, sovereignty, order, and evolution are no longer 4 separate principles. They begin to harmonize. I guide the process, a conductor of my own soul. The core of creation pulses, feeding life into the lattice of order. The shell of sovereignty contains it all, giving it defined existence. The cloud of evolution constantly refines and adapts the entire system from within. The energies bleed into one another, the distinct components merging, weaving together into a single unified and impossibly complex whole. The separate notes become a chord. On the final hour of the final day, I feel it. A subtle shift. A final alignment. A silent, perfect click, as every single component settles into its final, permanent place. The foundation is complete. A wave of power, so immense, so pure, it defies description, washes over me. It's not just strength. It is understanding. The world, my realm, the very air I breathe, I don't just see it anymore. I perceive it on a level I couldn't have imagined. I can feel the flow of energy in a single blade of grass. I can hear the silent song of the stones. My senses have been elevated to an entirely new plane of existence. Meanwhile, in the gray, broken world outside, a different kind of order is taking shape. In a fortified settlement built from the bones of a pre-apocalypse military base, a woman named Alara stands before a holographic map. Scraps of data flicker across the display: scout reports, energy readings, survivor testimonials. Her tactical mind trait, the very thing that made her a leader in this new world, is screaming at her that something is wrong. The official story was that the target had perished in the collapse of the Nexus caverns, the prize lost. But the pieces didn't fit. The energy signature spike from the decoy was too clean. She murmurs to her lieutenant, a grizzled man leaning against the concrete wall. It was a trap, a good one, but it felt theatrical. And the scouts we sent after Jackson Reed? They found their trail, then nothing. It just vanished. No bodies, no signs of a struggle. Just gone. The lieutenant grunts. Maybe a high-tier beast got them. Alara shakes her head, her eyes narrowing on a blank section of the map, a region of impassable, mutated mountains. No, this feels different. This feels intelligent. It feels like we weren't the hunters. It feels like we were being observed, like we were the distraction. Her finger taps the empty mountains. Keep a drone on continuous patrol of this sector. I want to know if a single rock moves out there. Whatever, or whoever, was in those caverns. I don't think they're gone. I think they just went somewhere we can't see. Back in my sanctuary, I slowly open my eyes. The world looks the same, but it's fundamentally different. My perception is sharper, deeper. The foundation of creation, sovereignty, order, and evolution hums within me, a silent engine of infinite potential. The power it contains is staggering. I look at my hands, truly seeing them for the first time. I see the flow of life within, the ordered cells, the potential for evolution. I am no longer just Kai, I am a living embodiment of my Tao. My gaze drifts towards the sky of my realm, knowing that beyond it lies a world of chaos and decay. A world that betrayed me, a world I will one day return to. But not as a survivor, not as a victim. I have established my foundation, now it's time to build upon it. The world outside thinks I am dead. They are right, in a way. The man they knew is gone. What is coming for them is something else entirely. The world held its breath, though it didn't know why. Inside Kai's stanchion, the four components, crystal, shell, lattice, and nebula slowly, inexorably, move together. It is a cosmic dance. They don't just combine, they interweave. The sovereignty shell becomes the outer boundary. The order lattice becomes the internal scaffolding. The creation crystal sits at the precise center. And the evolution nebula fills every empty space, connecting it all. Kai had been meditating for 20 days. From Kai's perspective, he was floating in an infinite, formless space. The creation crystal unfurled like a verdant nebula, tendrils of life reaching out, seeking something to nurture. The evolution nebula did not consume. It created space, a perfect, velvety black canvas upon which creation could be painted. And his will, the order lattice, pulsed like a metronome, a steady rhythmic beat that guided the celestial dance. First, the starlight wrapped around the sovereignty shell. Light and shadow didn't fight, they embraced, defining each other. Then, the life essence flowed into this nascent duality, not as a river, but as a fine mist, seeding the darkness with the potential for existence. Finally, his will, the sovereignty shell, became the gravitational center, the singularity that pulled it all together. Kai's voice strain and triumph mingling, unify. A sound beyond sound, the harmonic convergence of fundamental forces. He felt a tremor, a vibration that started in his soul and radiated outwards. It was the feeling of a universe being born. A brilliant point of light, no bigger than a pinprick, erupted in the center of his stanchion. This was his star, his Tao core. It shone with a light that was both golden and silver, a perfect fusion of energy and matter. Immediately, this miniature sun exerted its own gravity. This was creation. The remaining essence coalesced, spinning into orbits. 9 motes of dust and light began to form, tiny planetoids circling their newborn star. One glowed with the green of the weeping willow. This is order. Another shimmered with the diamond hardness of the adamant core. A swirling nebula of leftover starlight and void energy painted the background in hues of violet and indigo. He had not just created a power source, and this was sovereignty. He had forged a micro-realm, a complete, self-sustaining cosmos within his own body, and lastly, evolution. In that singular moment of creation, Kai understood. He saw the patterns, the great cosmic web that connected everything. He saw the flow of energy not just through his own meridians, but through the fabric of reality itself. He understood that power wasn't about strength, but about balance. About the interplay of light and dark, existence and emptiness, life and stillness. He saw his own past, not as a series of random events, but as a deliberate path leading to this exact moment. And he saw the future not as a fixed line, but as a vast expanse of possibilities. A nebula of potential waiting for a will to give it shape. The Cosmic Tao Codex's tone was of pure awe, foundation establishment complete. Tao manifestation, the sovereign creator's Genesis realm. Quality, transcendent. Unclassifiable, stability, absolute. This is not a foundation to bear weight. This is a foundation that is a universe. The path ahead is forever altered. It was an epiphany that transcended words, a raw download of universal truth. His eyes, still closed, seemed to see everything. Then Kai opens his physical eyes. Tears of pure cosmic understanding stream down his face, evaporating into sparks of light. I finally see. That's when the domain steward warning came. Warning. The completion of a Tao foundation of this magnitude is resonating with the local dimensional plane. The energy signature is irrepressible. It is triggering a systemic response, and then the world outside response, the tribulation. It won't be lightning this time, will it? The Codex answers him. No, you have built a universe. The cosmos will not strike you. It will acknowledge you. And that acknowledgement has weight. The sky above the entire continent tore open. It didn't rip like fabric. It parted as if a celestial curtain were being drawn aside. There was no sound, no thunder, just a sudden, silent void in the heavens. From this impossible rift in reality, a beam of pure, opalescent light descended. It was not a laser, not a lightning bolt. It was a pillar of raw cosmic law, a tangible manifestation of the universe's attention. Across the continent, activity ceased. In the sprawling scrap cities, scavengers looked up from their work, their mouths agape. In the verdant, hidden valleys, farmers shielded their eyes, falling to their knees in instinctual reverence. In the high-tech enclaves, scientists' instruments went haywire, screaming with data they could not comprehend. Every single person, from the lowest scavenger to the highest elder, felt it, an overwhelming sense of awe and insignificance. They were witnessing something divine, a power that dwarfed their entire existence. Miles away, atop the command center of the watchtower, Maya's world dissolved into chaos. Alarms blared, screens flashed red with warnings of atmospheric distortion and energy spikes beyond any measurable scale. Her tactical mind, usually a fortress of logic and data, was failing. She tried to run simulations to categorize the event. Solar flare? Unknown weapon? Extradimensional incursion? None of it fit. The data was too perfect, too symmetrical. It was less like a chaotic energy event and more like a perfectly executed equation. Her fingers froze over her console. This wasn't an attack. This wasn't physics as she knew it. This was worship. Awe, pure and simple, finally broke through her analytical shell. She could only stare at the pillar of light on the main view screen. Her tactical genius rendered utterly useless in the face of divinity. She whispered a single name, a prayer and a question all in one. Kai? Even further away, in the desolate ruins they called their base. Jackson Reed felt the shift not as awe, but as pure, soul-crushing terror. The sky didn't just part for them. It felt like it was judging them. The light wasn't beautiful. It was an indictment. They had betrayed Kai. They had left him for dead, rationalizing their cowardice as pragmatism. Now, the universe itself seemed to be announcing his ascension. Jax collapsed, clutching his head. The light felt like it was burning his secrets, exposing the rot in his soul. And that light made him remember his last life. Every excuse he had ever made turned to ash in his mouth. He did it, he choked out, the words tasting like poison. The madman actually did it. Reed stood frozen, his hand gripping the hilt of a blade he now knew would be useless. He remembered Kai's quiet determination, the unwavering belief in his eyes. He had dismissed it as foolish idealism. Now, that idealism was a pillar of light that stretched from heaven to earth. This wasn't just power. It was a verdict. And they were on the wrong side of it. Their regret was so profound it felt like a physical weight, crushing the air from their lungs. The cosmic beam, impossibly vast, struck the exact location of K's meditation chamber. Yet it destroyed nothing. It passed through the reinforced plasteel and shielding as if they were ghosts. And all the barriers of his realm didn't work. The light found Kai and poured into him. He does not resist. He rises into the air, arms spread. It was not a violent impact. It was a baptism. My foundation is built. Acknowledge it. Kai felt a sense of coming home, of completion. The opalescent light washed over his newly formed micro-realm, not to change it, but to bless it. His star burned brighter. The orbits of his planets stabilized, and the nebula within him swirled with new, complex colors. The light was integrating with his foundation. It washes over the micro-realm in his dantian, connecting it to the actual cosmic background radiation of the universe. It becomes a permanent, renewable energy source for his foundation. The tiny sun in his micro-realm brightens, now a true fusion engine, engraving the laws of the universe onto his very soul. It was the cosmos itself, acknowledging the birth of a new, resonant frequency within its grand symphony. The pillar of light solidified his Tao foundation, turning it from a fragile new creation into an eternal, unshakable reality. As the last mote of light was absorbed into his being, the rift in the sky sealed itself, leaving behind an unnervingly calm blue sky as if nothing had ever happened. A calm, mechanical voice, unheard by anyone else, echoed in Kai's mind, the voice of the Genesis Codex. Phenomenon recorded, celestial attunement. Tao Foundation successfully established. Grade: transcendent. Welcome, Founder Kai. You no longer just cultivate energy. You are tapped into the source. Kai's eyes slowly opened. They were no longer just the eyes of a young man. Within them, one could see the faint glimmer of distant stars, a reflection of the universe he now carried within. A new era had begun. The celestial pillar recedes, folding back into the cosmos. The sky above the northern sanctuary range bleeds back into its familiar, bruised twilight. Kai descends, his feet touching the ground with impossible silence. The overwhelming aura of power that had warped the very air around him is gone, drawn back inward. To any observer, he would seem utterly ordinary, a young man in his early 20s, alone in the wilderness. But it is a terrifying stillness, the calm at the eye of a hurricane. His gaze, now clear of cosmic light, falls upon a single humble blade of grass at his feet. Kai utters the word grow. The blade of grass shivers. It doesn't just grow. It blossoms with purpose. In a breathtaking cascade of shimmering light, it cycles through 1,000,000 years of evolution in mere seconds. It sprouts crystalline leaves, its stem thickens into a luminous, fibrous structure, and it emits a soft, ethereal hum, bathing the immediate area in a gentle glow of stable, pure ki. This is authority, not just power over, but harmony with. My will is now a natural law within my sphere of influence. The domain steward voice speaks in Kai's mind. Congratulations, Master. The Foundation Establishment realm is complete at the absolute peak. Your power has increased by a factor beyond linear measurement. However, a strategic consideration arises. The steward projects a holographic map into the air before Kai. It shows the mountain range, with 2 key locations circled in red, the distant, shimmering mirage spire, and the site of the mountain cataclysm. A series of arrows point from a nearby settlement towards the empty space between them, a space labeled Dead Zone. An image of Maya, the settlement's sharp-eyed leader, is overlaid, her expression a mix of intense curiosity and suspicion. Domain Steward. Leader Maya's suspicion is solidifying into a hypothesis. She will send a high-risk team to investigate the dead zone between the two phenomena, the exact location of our tertiary camouflage layer within the week. A cool, composed smile finally touches Kai's lips. It's a smile of absolute confidence, of a chess master seeing the entire board. Kai begins to speak. She's clever. The decoy bought us time, not invisibility. It's fine. The architecture is complete. Now we add the furnishings. Before I condense my core, It's time to use my foundation for its first true act of creation. Kai's voice speaks with authority, cosmic creator of formations. Integrate with my sovereign creator's Genesis realm foundation. Design and manifest a defensive protocol. Not a barrier to hide, but a monument that declares. Something that turns curiosity into reverence and investigation into pilgrimage. Make it beautiful. Make it a testament to order. Kai's eyes ignite, glowing with the soft, nebular light of the miniature universe within him. Miles away, at the very edge of his hidden sanctuary, the earth begins to tremble. Stone and soil flow like liquid, rising and reshaping not into a crude wall, but into a majestic, seamless archway of pure white marble, intricately veined with shimmering gold. It stands a colossal 50 meters tall, a beacon of impossible purity in the desolate landscape. In the center of the arch, the space itself seems to shimmer, coalescing into a gentle, opalescent light. No monstrous aura, no threatening energy, only a profound sense of peace and immense, sleeping power. Above the arch, ancient runes, older than humanity, ignite in a soft, golden script. No one in this new world could read the language, but any who saw it would understand its intrinsic meaning. The gate of unfolding dawn, passage granted not by strength, but by understanding. The domain steward begins explaining. The gate is manifest. It emits a soothing harmonic that repels monstrous life and attracts stable, intelligent energy. It is a filter. The violent and greedy will feel an instinctive aversion to approach. The curious and wise will feel drawn. Let Maya send her team. Let them find the gate. Let them try to understand it. Their reaction will tell me what the new world is made of. And while they puzzle at the door, Kai turns his back on the holographic projection, his focus returning inward. Deep within his dantian, the grapefruit-sized universe begins to pulse with a steady, rhythmic light. At its very center, the primordial sun, the heart of his creation, slowly begins to contract, gathering its infinite energy for the next stage of Genesis. I will be inside, forging the star of my being into a core, for the core realm. The sixth realm approaches. The gate is raised. Should Kai allow the first visitors inside? Yes or nitrogen monoxide in the comments. The core realm is next. What power should it have? Subscribe for the most pivotal breakthrough yet.